You're listening to the Patriot Nation podcast.
All right, welcome into the Patriot Nation podcast. As always, your boy Pat Lane here with my guy Matt St. Jean. And of course, the Patriot Nation podcast is presented to you by FanDuel, which is the official wagering partner of CLNS Media. Make sure you go on and sign up at fanduel.com/Boston. Matt, first of all, football season has happened, right? There has been a football game played. Not only has there been a football game played, we are less than a week away from a Patriots game being played.
I can't wait. It's here. I got in my little office here, I got like a whiteboard on the door and I put a little doodle up there because it's week one and I can get myself all excited now. Like, it's nice to get in game day mode. I can see the jersey in my closet and it's like, oh, I'm actually going to get to wear that for the first time since May at the draft or April with the draft. So, getting ready for it, and
it's pretty nice.
It's
pretty nice. Back. And Matt Menino and I have the same goal, which is, he said his goal is to not fall asleep in the middle of the podcast. That's my goal as well. Just don't fall asleep in the middle of it, and we'll be good to go. Speaking of that, Matt, I think, is referring to the fact that he did not get the trivia question from last week. He was a little upset about that. DM me the correct answer without looking afterwards, but nevertheless. The trivia question from last week was, who the Patriots won 2 games in 1992, which quarterback led them to those 2 victories? And of course, the answer to that, which dark blue gold is the first one to have answered correctly in the chat, is the great Scott Zolak. And so there you go. Yeah. Dark blue gold, great job on getting that one. And that's a tough one.
Well done. Yeah, we'll have another trivia question at the end of the show. I got a fun one this week too. I think I think you guys are gonna like it. I see Matt Menino too. What's everybody wearing for jerseys on Thursday? I keep it current. I got my Matt Judon jersey. He got that contract too. This is
love it.
I got to break it out. What are you wearing, Pat?
So I'm not sure. My house is currently being renovated, and so I don't really have access to my closet, though I can probably get to it if I need to. Mm-hmm. But Christian Barmore is the jersey that I have. I don't know if I'll wear that on Thursday night, but I might. I might have to go into the construction zone and take my Christian Barmore jersey out of there so I can wear it on Thursday night.
That's a good one. See, I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I have still been unable to get myself a white Devin McCourty jersey because I have the new ones. I have the navy one. I still don't have one of the road jerseys yet. And I want a Devin McCourty, and you can't get it online. I got to go to the pro shop for it.
It's wild. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. And you know what's so my daughter's favorite is Marcus Jones, which is partly my fault because I love Marcus Jones, and of course she started watching Marcus Jones, right? So. They don't have Marcus Jones jerseys in the pro shop. They don't have them. I'm like, Marcus Jones. They're selling Jack Jones jerseys in the pro shop. Yeah, but they're not selling Marcus Jones.
I guess Marcus needs to bring some guns to Logan to get his jersey sold.
Let's hope he doesn't do that. Don't even put that out into the atmosphere.
Out into existence.
So that he's like, oh really? That's all I got to do. All right, I can do that.
It's such a weird selection of jerseys that's available. It's bizarre. So shout out to my dad in the chat. He's going with the Troy Brown jersey on Thursday. He had the same Troy Brown jersey. We've been wearing the same one for as long as I can remember. It's still so good. The numbers are coming off a little bit. They're wearing through, but
that's so good. I love it. Absolutely love it. I have some old school ones. I have a Curtis Martin, a white Curtis Martin from back in the day, and that of course is that's when they had the when the numbers were diagonal,
the huge ones. Like they got the flying Elvis,
bro. It's white. The numbers are red, and the shadow is the blue.
Blue, yeah.
That jersey,
it's so nice,
outrageous. So
I love it. That's the Super Bowl 31 jersey.
Super Bowl 31. Yep. So,
those jerseys look good. Look, I love the red throwbacks and everything, but I would not hate a 90s throwback in there at some point.
People are like, oh, those jerseys are so ugly and this and that. And I'm like, well, I mean, you're not wrong that they're not like, if they wore them every week, I wouldn't be happy with it. But the point of the throwback jerseys is because seeing the throwbacks are fun, and part of it is the nostalgia part of it. And there's some real cool nostalgia stuff when you look at it and say, wow, that's a really cool one, right? Like I remember that back in the mid 90s, you know what I mean?
And it's ugly in a distinctive way.
Right.
Like, it's ugly in a way that looks good, if that makes sense.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's the same thing with the NBA. Like the NBA has so many cool retro, like the Raptors, the purple Raptors jerseys with the huge raptor on it. Outrageous. Those jerseys are incredible. But like they don't wear them and they're ugly. Like I'm not saying they're not. The old Rockets jerseys with the pinstripes and the huge, like those are ugly jerseys. But they were cool.
So
at least fun. They had something. Like now it's just like bland.
Do you remember the MLB turn ahead the clock jerseys? If you've seen those, they did this whole promotion. It was like what baseball is going to look like in 100 years or in 1,000 years or something like that. And it's like jerseys were like, they're almost like football jerseys with like a big number on some of them. And then they had like huge just logos and like they had vests. It was like just vests, nothing underneath it. And then some teams were wearing the hats backwards full time. And yeah, if you ever want something real weird and real like late 90s, early 2000s, go look up the turn ahead the clock jerseys. I want to see some of those come back.
That's interesting.
I love the Pats red throwback jersey. Don't get me wrong, but I still do feel some level of objection to a team that calls themselves the Patriots, kind of after the Minutemen, wearing the color of their enemy in the Revolutionary War. Like that's still weird to me.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but they look so nice that it just doesn't matter.
Oh, they do. They look good. They look good. So like that's what matters at the end of the day. But I don't want to see them go to those full time.
Also, shout out the chat here. Matt Menino with an Adrian Phillips jersey. That's impressive. Love it.
He doesn't have it yet. He's thinking about buying.
Oh,
go buy it. Go buy it.
I see. Okay. Yeah. And then old man Mob.
I know it's hard.
Well, he just said, looking at the current players I have, might go with Adrian Phillips. He's not talking about buying new ones. I thought he was talking about what he was going to wear tonight.
He was talking about what they have in the shop. Oh, you do own it. All right. It's on me. It's on me.
So, an old man Mob also a Jim Plunkett Pats jersey. That is outrageous. That's an awesome.
I love that.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. The only one that's like that I have is, and I'm totally forgetting his name, but the rookie running back the Pats had in 97, 98, Robert Edwards, wore 47.
Yeah.
I got a Robert Edwards jersey.
The aesthetic of that jersey is cool too, because 47 is such a ridiculous number for a running back.
Well, like, just absolutely for a good running back.
Yes, yeah.
It's perfect.
So I had my first jersey ever. We're getting way off on a tangent here. We're bringing ourselves back, I promise. My first jersey ever, my first Patriots jersey ever was a Marion Butts jersey. And I was like 10. And it's like the perfect thing of all time. Because like what 10-year-old boy thinks it's hysterical to be wearing a Patriots jersey that says Butts in the background? Like, it's fantastic. You know what I mean? So
Marion Butts is absolutely going to be the answer to a trivia question at some point this year, just because of that.
Oh, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. So, all right, let's get into. Do you want to get into numbers first, or would you like to get into players we want to watch first?
I think we should do players we want to watch. We'll circle back around to the jersey number talk at the end.
I like that. Dark Google, you can guess Butts every single time. But listen. When in doubt, just guess Butts.
Yeah, that'll be an answer at some point this year. I can guarantee you that.
Exactly. So, all right, why don't you start? I'm going to let you start with your first guy. We're going to do 5 each, and then we might have a few kind of extras thrown in there a little bit. But I'm going to let you start with the first guy, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a guy right now who he's kind of become the storyline of a guy who's struggling and not meeting expectations in camp after he had a very strong performance at OTAs, and it's Tyquan Thornton. He's with the second group of receivers now when they're doing drills, and I don't know how much to make of that. Can't be great for him but he obviously has talent. And when they threw the ball his way last year, good things happened. So I want to see how he looks when you get him out in pads on the football field for real game action. It's not practice. Let's actually do this and see what happens. If he's healthy enough to play, I suspect we're going to see a lot of Tyquan Thornton too. That's my guess, because they're trying to get a look at these receivers. And I know you got some other receivers on your list. I think we're going to see a lot of Thornton, Booty, and Pop Douglas. Yeah. So we're going to see all of them. And Thornton's the one where it's like, all right, we expect the most from him. Let's see what he can bring on Thursday.
Thornton is just, look, here's the real hard part for me, right? And I said it, in one of the instant reaction pods I did this week. When the Patriots were at 22, I wanted them to draft George Pickens. And then when they traded back to 29, I wanted them to draft George Pickens. And then when they traded up to 50, I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to draft George Pickens. And they didn't. They took another wide receiver. And so, unfortunately, he's always going to be linked to George Pickens, right? Now, by the way, Pickens was fine last year, but he wasn't incredible. It's not like he was Justin Jefferson last year, right? And
he had 800 yards, but he also had got 80 targets and 50 catches. So he wasn't like he was catching everything thrown his way, and he got targeted a lot. There's a really high volume there.
Correct. And so, it's hard for me to sit there and, it's very hard for people to look at Tyquan Thornton objectively. And I know the Patriots kind of had something in mind when they were drafting him. Obviously, they were looking for speed, and he provides a lot of that. But you just haven't seen that from him in training camp. Now, when you're in a real game, how does that look in a real game? Last year, as you pointed out, he did quite well in real games last year, right? He was a good target
when they involved him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. But now it's becoming to be that point where it's like, okay, we're seeing a lot from Booty. We're seeing a lot from Douglas. What are we looking at? What's Tyquan Thornton going to be doing? And how is he going to play? And, old man mom just pointed out, can he take hits, right? The first hit in the preseason last year, he separated his shoulder or broke his collarbone in the first time he was hit. So, and you have questions,
And there's been, I forget who put the stat together. It might have been Zach Cox, who had brought up that stat that the last couple days Thornton was targeted 8 times in practice. There's 3 catches and 5 passes broken up.
Yeah,
and this is your big worry with him. Can he actually be physical enough at the catch point in the NFL? Because he's not. We all know he's not the biggest dude in the world.
Well, that's the thing.
We haven't seen that.
And everyone's fast.
And he's in this. Yeah. Well, it's this tough spot right now where Devontae Parker is looking really good in camp. Juju is the hot new thing who came in free agency as a veteran. Bourne is a guy we know his chemistry with Mac. Now Pop Douglas is a really good slot option who has a very different skill set from Tyquan Thornton. In some ways, they're not even competing for playing time here because they're going to play very different roles in the offense here no matter what. But you see Tyquan Thornton gets hurt, and Pop Douglas comes up, and that's when you hear about the offense doing well in camp. And Thornton's out, and then he comes back and he's with the twos. And it's just from a narrative perspective, from a fan perspective, this is kind of one of those times where you can really get behind the 8 ball here, get buried on the depth chart over the next 2 weeks, and poof, there goes your NFL career in New England. You'll be on the team this year probably, and then next offseason you're gonna find yourself traded somewhere, and it's another one of these second round busts, another one of these wide receiver busts. And obviously nobody involved wants that to be the outcome here. So I think for Thornton to get back on track, that's got to start Thursday with something. Show something on the field if he's, again, healthy enough to be out there and going to get reps.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I'm going to take another guy in the similar vein as Tyquan Thornton, not the same situation, but in a similar vein as Tyquan Thornton, and that is Joshua Bledsoe. Bledsoe is a guy for me that I think when you look at what is going on in the Patriots secondary, there's a ton of incredible athletes. There's a ton of really good players. There's a lot of excitement about this backfield. And, there's some undrafted guys that, they probably aren't going to make the team and whatever. But Bledsoe's not a guy I've really heard much of, right? And here's a guy that last year in training camp, was incredible. He looked like one of the best safeties on the team last year. And then he really couldn't find the field during the regular season. So you said, okay, well, fine. He was good in, in training camp. That's nice. You didn't do it once you got onto the football field. And so now this offseason becomes big for him because they have a lot of young guys. Amir Speed is a guy that really not going to play corner right away, but he's could be a special teams guy. Played like 500 special team snaps at Georgia. Isaiah Bolden is a guy that is raw. He's a raw player right now. But would you keep Josh Bledsoe over Isaiah Bolden at this point? I don't know if you would. And if it's me personally, I'm looking at saying Bolden could really develop into something where Bledsoe may have hit that point and he's as far as he's going to go. And our safety is deep. So, for me personally, I look at it and think if Bledsoe's going to make this team, he's going to have to put on a show in the preseason, and that starts Thursday night.
Yeah, and he just missed my list to be on the guys we were talking about here because of what you said. He's been so good in camp. The other issue for him is that he might, for all we might know, he could be a very good safety. He's just behind a lot of guys who are also really, really good safeties. And this is where you prove that you belong on the roster. And I know we're gonna make a lot of, they got a lot of good safeties, but Phillips will play a lot in the box. Peppers will play a lot in the box. Seems like Mapu might just straight up be a linebacker right now with how they're using him, and he's not in that conversation. And Mills is out there. I don't think we've heard a lot about him at all in camp, which is, if he's going to be playing free safety, that's to be expected. But Bledsoe is a guy who can match up with tight ends in theory, and they did that with him at points last year, and I like that. And also, you got an opening at free safety here. I don't know if he has the speed for it. He does if you're going to play too high safety stuff. There's an opportunity for him here. And it's also clear the team isn't in love with Jalen Mills. They almost cut him. And if Jalen Mills comes out, he was just not that good at safety. Bledsoe can take his job. He's good enough to do that, I think. So I want to see what he looks like because I see the promise there in him.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Should we go with my next player here? Good. Going back over to the offensive side of the ball, I did speed for my first guy. I'm doing speed for my second guy. Give me Pierre Strong. I've loved the highlights we've seen from him and the flashes we've seen from him. And now this is an opportunity, put on the pads, do it for real. I want to see what year 2 of Pierre Strong is going to look like, what he's improved over the offseason. And I just love seeing that speed out on the field. They can get him in the open field. And also, how they're gonna use him in this offense with Bill O'Brien. I'm very, very curious about that. So I'm excited for some Pierre Strong. You can maybe put a little Kevin Harris in there, but Pierre Strong is kind of my darling, and I want to see something there.
Yeah, he's a guy that he's the guy you want at running back, right? Because he has that breakaway speed. Can you get a guy like that in the open field? Is he a good enough running back to play running back in the NFL? It takes a lot more than just speed to play running back in the NFL, but can he do that, right? And again, they've brought in Zeke, they've brought in Fournette, they've brought in Cook, they've brought in a ton of guys. They haven't signed any of them yet. So, what does Pierre Strong look like on Thursday night? What does Kevin Harris look like on Thursday night? Those guys are going to decide really whether the Patriots sign a second running back or not, right? So we'll see. But that's a good one. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go a little special team. You know what? No, I'm gonna go back to the offense. It's an obvious one. Everyone knows it's coming. Pop Douglas. Look, the guy has completely dominated, completely 100% dominated training camp. Everyone's talked about it. Everyone said he's been so good. I've been there. I've seen it. People that have been there have seen it. Everyone's talked about it. Now, when it's a real game, and I don't know how long Mac's going to be in the game, but it doesn't matter how long Mac's going to be in the game. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. Can he get separation? Can he get open against actual corners during an actual real live game? Because we're sitting here saying, Pop Douglas looks great. That's awesome. That's training camp. What does it look like on the football field when we're going full speed 100% and there's 90 guys trying to make the team on the other side of the ball too, and you got to try to get open now, right? And so, that's really going to be interesting to see. He's bigger. People have talked about, he's 190 pounds and he's stronger than I thought. And, Peppers talked about he's tougher and stronger than I thought he would be. Great. That's training camp. What's it going to look like when he gets out on the football field? Why was he drafted in the 6th round instead of a guy that should have been drafted in the 1st or 2nd round? Right. And so, can he do that? And everything we've seen so far says that he probably can, but I really want to see it. I really want to see it on the field.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, and I'm excited because there's been so much hype around a Patriots receiver like this, and I want to actually see how this plays out. I'm also just curious, like, what his usage looks like, and I think that's going to tell us a lot about how the team values him. I don't know how many starters we're going to get Thursday night and how long they're going to play, and where Douglas falls into that group will tell us a lot. Like, all right, if they give Mac Jones one series, is Douglas out there with him? Does he get that look or no? You see a guy coming in with Zappy, and when Zappy goes out, he's done. See a guy they're going to give extended looks into the fourth quarter, or is he going to get like the Marcus Jones treatment from last year, and like he's going to be the guy who everybody's hyped? Then you get to the games, he doesn't even play because they feel good with what they'd already seen, and they didn't. Yeah. So that, just from where he is on the depth chart perspective of usage, I'm really interested to learn more about how this team sees him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're trying to get the ball out to him, you got to protect. My next guy up here, I'm going to go offensive line. I almost went Riley Reef with this. Again, I didn't because I'm not exactly sure what the offensive line reps are going to look like. So I went with a guy I know we are going to see. That's Antonio Mafi at that guard spot. The rumors are that he's looked very good. Evan Lazar had mentioned, I think over the weekend in one of his articles, bringing back the when to tackle noise, that, hey, if Mafi is good enough at right guard, then you can do the whole plug him in and move Onwenu out. Don't know if that's going to happen. We haven't seen the team do it in camp. That complicates the extension conversation around Onwenu too, if they end up doing that. So that's a whole, I'm not going to delve into that right now. But Mafi's a very powerful player, and I want to see how he looks going full speed. I suspect we're going to see a lot of him. I also suspect that's going to be one of those where we may not notice much on the first watch. We're going to have to sit back, watch the game again, and really get an idea of what they're doing. Yeah, intrigued to see how he looks, intrigued to see how they use him too, whether it's the left side or the right side, what types of, and this goes for the running game in general, just what do the schemes look like? Is it better coordinated than it was last year? Do the players know what they're doing? It's our first look at Adrian Clem. So this is a little bit of that are also our first look at Adrian Clem here being in the conversation.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. It's funny. I'm excited to see Mafi as well. And people in the chat are talking about the tackles. And, DeJuan Jones is a guy that we highlighted before the draft. And they take Jake Andrews before DeJuan Jones goes off the board. And you just sit there and say, man, like, and I know Blake Freeland went the pick before Jake Andrews went. And there was some smoke that Freeland was a guy the Patriots were interested in. But, like, Jones just a guy that I thought could play right tackle for the Patriots, And so you look at it and say, man, if of course we sit there and say that, but
what I will say is this: you got PFF going out there hyping up DeJuan Jones after shutting out Jets backups in the Hall of Fame game. Like he also should do that, and that's when I think of PFF. When I think of PFF and preseason stats, the first thing that came to mind was giving Sean Wade the #1 overall grade for any corner in the preseason. So that also happened.
That's also quite true. And
yes.
I'm not, and I'm not even saying it because of what he did on Thursday night, but
people are
talking about the tackle.
He's a big guy. It's hard to find guys that big, and with the tackle situation, what it is, Calvin Anderson is. We saw him exist on the sideline for the first time this week. I hope things are going well for him.
Yep.
And City So does not sound like he's ready at all to play tackle in the NFL this year.
No, he got smoked a little bit on the outside, and this, I think that's kind of to be expected at this point, right? Maybe if he was ahead of the curve, but I think that they kind of knew that going in. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the Foxborough flu and ends up on the IR before the season starts.
Yes, and I wanna segue that in because we got a question I think that ties in perfectly. Gary Sauerbutts asked, how many offensive linemen do you think they're going to end up putting on the roster here? I think this is a great question in general, and this is where we're going to start to answer that question. We're going to learn how they like these guys.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked to see 10 make it, but I think my prediction of them having 10 make it had Calvin Anderson in the mix,
Right.
And we don't know what's going on there. And then had City So in the mix, and he is definitely a Foxborough flu or a practice squad for a year candidate right now. We don't know what's going on with him. And so I think 8 or 9 is likely. I think a lot's going to be determined based on what happens at like your tight end 3 position. Would you rather go with Matt Sokol or City So for a roster spot? It's just going to be how you're going to use them and how you feel about your depth at those spots, who you can get through to the practice squad, things like that. If I had to go with a specific number, I think I'd probably guess 9 because of the investment there, 9 or even 10.
Well, and I can't imagine cutting a guy like City So, right? Maybe you want him on the practice squad, and ideally he'd be on the practice squad for you this year, but you can't cut that guy. Whereas if Matt Sokol's your third tight end, you can cut Matt Sokol and feel pretty good about him coming onto the practice squad. Or if Johnny Lumpkin, who someone else in the chat mentioned, if he jumps into your tight end 3, right? Could he be a guy that you cut and ends up on the practice squad? Like, that's easily, you can pass that guy through waivers. So as a 4th round pick, I think people like him enough in the league that someone will scoop him up if you cut him. So you just really can't do that. I don't think, at least if you like him. Now, if you think he sucks and you're like he's never going to be good and you cut him, then you cut him, right? But if you're trying to get him back, I think that'd be a tough move. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, agreed there.
All right. My next guy is a guy that I mentioned earlier, but that is Isaiah Bolden. Isaiah Bolden, of course, coming from Jackson State, and one of those physical freak guys, right? Like 6'3", 220, runs a 4.3 40, just an absolute freak. And the question is, can he play corner in the NFL? And I don't know the answer to that question, right? Can he do it? And so I think you're going to get your first look at whether he can do it or not on Thursday night. And I think he can be a guy that is productive in the return game. I love Marcus Jones returning punts and returning kicks. He was fine, but at the same time, if Marcus Jones is going to play defense for you too, you don't want him returning kicks and returning punts and playing defense. That's too much, right? So maybe Bolden's your kick returner, and he is good enough to rotate in at corner if he has to. And he has that type of size, speed, where you can look at it and say, okay, this kid projects to be a solid corner in the NFL. We don't know how it's going to look, but he projects to be that guy, Yeah.
Well, and this is, the team has done very well with the late round corners, and this is that time of year where J.C. Jackson, made a statement and got himself onto the roster. A guy like Malcolm Butler, this is where that happens. Isaiah Bolden has everything to be an NFL guy. We just don't know if it actually pans out for him. Like, it's got it all on paper. It's just such a big jump from where he is that you never know how it translates until you get on the field with the bright lights and full speed and see how it plays out. And I hope it works out for him, because it's a great opportunity, and I know guys rave about him, and he's got size and speed and everything. So I mean, it'd be a great addition to that room, and makes your life a lot easier if you just keep stacking really good corners.
Got that right. Yeah. All right, who do you got?
Well, we're wrapping up here with our last guys to watch.
Last guy, yep.
We're keeping it simple. I'm gonna spoil myself here for our jersey number predictions for the rookies. Can't wait to see number 99 out there.
Go.
Just booming punts. Give me Bryce. Is it Behringer or Behringer?
I think it's Behringer.
I listened to it on the media guide the other day, and I already forgot. But the man from Michigan State with the mustache, just going out there booming punts. I'm very excited to see how good that leg is in a real game. He's got an elite. If they let him wear 99, he's got the rec specs, he's got the mustache, he's got the 99 as a punter. Just, I need it. And it's a nice silver lining, because if the offense isn't very good, at least we get a cool punter this year.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah. And I'm going to go with the other special teams guy, because Chad Ryland is a guy that I'm excited to see, because let's see it in a real game. You can see it. Look, we've talked about this. I've talked about this ad nauseum, I feel like, on here. The leg strength isn't even close. It's not even close. It's clearly he has a much significantly stronger leg than Nick Folk does. It's not even close. The question is, can he continue to be accurate, and can he do it? Now, again, right? Quinn Nordine had a significantly stronger leg than Nick Folk did too. Most NFL kickers have a significantly stronger leg than Nick Folk. The question is, can you be as accurate as Nick Folk is? If Ryland can show that, and he's done that pretty much in practice as well. He's been pretty consistent in practice. But if he can continue to show that, and he can show that his kickoff skills as well, I think the job's already his. But now we can look at it and be comfortable giving that job to this rookie.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. I just realized that's 4, I think, that we've gone through and not 5, because I still have one guy left on my list.
All right, go ahead, do it.
Keon White. I haven't talked about defense on here at all, except for a little Josh Bledsoe talking there. He's just a massive human being. I want to see him hit other human beings, and I want to see him make big people look a lot smaller because he's that big next to them. He's a guy who you need to see him in pads hitting guys out there to really understand the impact he brings. And I can't wait. I love that pick, and I'm excited to see him out there. And I'll throw Marte Mapu into this conversation too if he goes. I don't think he is going to. Maybe next week, but I don't. They said maybe. But
he's been in that red non-contact jersey the whole time. There's no way he plays Thursday. I mean, maybe.
Unless he gets cleared between now and then, but I think it would still be pretty limited.
Even still,
that's the case.
Still, why would you? You know what I mean? But I don't know. All right, my last guy is again. Keep it easy. Kayshon Boutte. Look, man, this was the guy with all the hype when the Patriots drafted him. He had, had the LSU record of like 230 yards receiving. He had that outrageous game as a true freshman. Can he do that? Can he build off of what he's done the last week in camp and go out there and show? Now, and I wasn't at camp today because I've missed every flipping time that they're in full pads. I've missed it. But supposedly the catch that he had today was the best catch of camp. It was an outrageous one-handed diving catch and
in the rain.
In the rain. And so that to me, man, so good. So good. I'm excited to see what he can bring. And so again, and look, it's going to be in second team guys. A lot of it is going to be, from Zappy and maybe even from Chase McSorley. And by the way, one other guy that I forgot to mention.
Malik Cunningham.
That's the other guy I wanted to mention is Cunningham because we finally saw him a quarterback today. I'm excited about that. I think his best opportunity to really make an impact in the NFL is at quarterback because I don't know if he has the skills to play wide receiver, but he is so shifty and he's so explosive that if he can do a little bit of both, it just makes him so fascinating. And maybe he can turn into an element type of player, but man, I think he can really, really do something at quarterback. I think that'd be really fun to see at least.
Yeah, maybe we can get the best. He might be the best mobile quarterback the Pats have had since, what's his face? Danny Etling.
Danny Etling.
Can we get another preseason moment like that?
Oh, that'd be so good.
That'd be something fun. I think we're doing a word from our sponsors here, and we'll come back.
Yeah, let's do it.
Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets, up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think is going to hit the first home run. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/Boston to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and up and present in Massachusetts. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Hope is here. GamblingHelplineMA.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234.
Hey Pat, we got some breaking Boston sports news.
Let's hear it.
I don't know if you saw this, but since we've been live, you see the Red Sox?
I did not.
Pablo Reyes walk-off grand slam.
He plays for the Red Sox, I assume?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah, it was 2-2 in the ninth, and he just launched one with the bases loaded.
I'm sure that there are people out there still watch the Red Sox. I cannot do it. I just can't do it. They exhaust me. They just exhaust me.
But every time they pull you back and they bring up the yellow jerseys tonight. See, the funny thing is Reyes is probably going to get DFA'd tomorrow because Trevor Story's coming back. He's the last one in a Red Sox uniform for a while.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
I don't like the doomerism around the team. Like they're entertaining at least. They do dumb stuff, and they do a lot of dumb stuff.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I do think that, there is an interesting, they're a fascinating team, I think. I'm just like, man, I don't know. Masa's really cool. And, that's awesome. But I'm like, how many times can you trade our favorite players? And then me then sitting there and saying, oh yeah, no, I totally get it. And I bought in and, it's tough,
Well, and they're in this really weird purgatory right now too, where it's like, they have, I think, the third best farm system in baseball. And they basically, if the guys develop the way they think they will, they have, the 2024, the 2025 starting lineup, all ready to go. And it'll all be great players. They won't have to make any moves. But what do you do between now and then? You can't, give up those guys. This team isn't good enough to go all in.
Right. Well, the hard thing is, the hard part about it is that in baseball, so much of that potential isn't necessarily always realized. They had, I can't for the life of me remember that the left-handed pitcher, I think, who was supposed to be the next greatest pitcher of all time, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, this guy's gonna be the best player ever," and he never made it to the majors because he just sucked as soon as he got to AAA. He was awful, and it was this guy was can't miss. He was the number one prospect ever. And they were they're never gonna trade him, and then he might have played he might have had 10 starts in the majors, and he was just absolutely, he was dog poo. And it was they could have gotten the best player in the Major League Baseball for him. You know what I mean? So it's just hard,
It's so tough. When they have Rafaela, they have Marcelo Meyer, who are guys who you feel pretty good about.
I agree.
And then there's a whole, and it's tough. The team's entertaining. I don't like that they seem to get worse on defense every year, and it's probably not great that your guys at the corners of your infield for the foreseeable future, Devers and Casas, are both not very good at defense. It doesn't seem ideal. But you know what? Duran is fun.
Defense doesn't win. Right. Defense doesn't win baseball games. Offense does. All right.
But it can lose you games. They keep losing.
You're not. I know.
That's the issue.
All right. Let's get back to football. And we'll get the rookie numbers because Jack is say the rookie numbers. I agree, Jack. I think we're unanimous on Christian Gonzalez. I would say that we're unanimous on Christian Gonzalez here.
I win.
It's got to be 0, right?
Yes.
It's got to be.
Yes.
Come on. You have to give him 0. The only other alternative is to give him 24, and Josh Bledsoe already has 24. 0 has to be the number. That's it. Christian Gonzalez, do it.
Yeah, and it's if he wasn't in that, if 20 wasn't retired, maybe you go somewhere like that. It's got to be 0. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't imagine him taking anything other than that.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you got for White? Because that's a complete crapshoot. I have no idea.
So I'm gonna make kind of a double prediction here.
Okay.
For Keon White. I'm saying Thursday night we're going to see him in 94 out there.
Ooh, I like 94.
But his college number is number 6.
True.
Currently held by Nick Folk.
Correct.
Folk does not make the roster and doesn't stick around on the practice squad. If he doesn't keep that number, I think we're going to see Keon White switch for the regular season, just like we saw Jack Jones do last year.
So I like that idea. However, right now, he is listed as a defensive end. Defensive ends are not allowed to wear numbers below 50. So unless the Patriots switch his position to linebacker, he cannot wear number 6. If he's a defensive end, it's not possible.
Interesting. I had thought they opened it so anybody could wear single digits.
No.
Okay.
The linemen, they don't care about the linemen. Defensive and offensive linemen are like, no, you have to stay in the 50s and 60s. That's it. So, and then the defensive linemen are able to win the 90s too. But but
they give me 94. It's as far away. It's six off from 100. That's like the closest. What are you going with
it's
there?
kind of like that. 100 minus 6.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good one. I had him in 50. For no reason other than it looks cool. You know what I mean? Like he's a cool guy. He like plays well. It's like, that'd be fun to see him in 50, but I like 94. As you say that, I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that number. So,
well, he's such a big physical guy. Like, I feel like he needs one of those big numbers to match it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. What do you got for Marte Mapu?
Marte Mapu, I struggled with this one, man. But I'm gonna go with number 30. He wore number 5 in college, which is currently being worn by Jabril Peppers. Peppers isn't giving that up anytime soon. I'm going to go with number 30.
Interesting.
Because it's a cool linebacker number. And Mapu, can play safety, can play linebacker, but I think he's going to play linebacker. So,
See, what I noticed going through stuff, he wore 5 at Sacramento State. He also wore 15 there before.
True.
And he seems to just be in the 50s a lot. I don't know what they do for Senior Bowl numbering, but he had 54 there. I thought about 54 for Mapu. I landed on 50. Seems like he likes the number 5. Yeah, I think 50, that works for him. I will also add here, 15's currently taken by Corliss Waitman. And assuming he doesn't end up sticking around here and that opens up, I could see Mapu swapping down to number 15 once we get to the regular season.
I like that too. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think he likes the number 5. I think there's going to be a 5 in it.
I like it. Yeah, I think the 50 makes a lot of sense. My dad agrees with you, by the way.
Glad to hear it.
All right, what do you got for Jake Andrews, who it probably isn't going to play Thursday night, but I'm assuming they'll announce it anyways, right?
Well, he's been practicing, right? He should play.
I thought he was hurt. No. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Jake Andrews was hurt, but now he's not. Okay.
I think he's back now. Yeah.
I think you're right.
I threw him in 54. I don't really have a reason for it. That feels like I think he wore 55 for high school and college, and that's not open with Uche there. So 54 is just kind of it's the next closest that isn't retired because he can't take 56. Seems like he likes a low number for a lineman, so we'll go with 54.
Yeah, I went with 53. It's kind of like the same thing. It's one of those,
lineman's tough.
He wore 55 at Troy. He wore 77 at the Senior Bowl. I'm like, he likes the double numbers, but he can't wear 66 because Cody Rusty. So I was like, I don't know.
And he can't even do 77 because of Trent Brown.
Well, of course, Trent. Yeah.
There's no double numbers for him anywhere.
Right. So that's what I went with 53 for him. City So 62 in college. I went with 61 for City So.
Ooh,
harkening back to Marcus Cannon. A solid right there.
Yeah. See, I went the other way. I went 72 for him.
There you go.
Especially with this is a weird thing, but like whenever I play, I do this especially with like the NCAA football video games when I'm like making my rosters. Yeah. All my centers wear numbers in the 50s. My guards are in the 60s. My tackles were in the 70s. That's just how I do it when I'm like making my rosters. City said he's going to play tackle. All right, give him a number in the 70s. Give him 72.
Yeah. All right, a Tony Mafi. Next one up. What do you got?
58. He seems like a guy in the 50s to me.
Yeah, we're unanimous on that one. I got 58 as well. He's also so big. He's like big and fat. You know what I mean? No offense, but like he's just squat, and 58 just looks cool on a guy that big. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that works for him. And it's open now with Anthony Jennings into 33.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, which I'm intrigued to see that. Yeah.
Yes. All right, Chad Ryland wore 38 in college.
Yes.
What a weird number for a punter. I didn't know what the hell to do here. I considered 28, but I'd settled on 16.
I was waffling here. I've actually had him at 16 for a while, but I was thinking about it, and I figured they might do a double up here because it doesn't seem like Trace McSorley is going to be sticking around here.
I thought of
And
that.
I'm
too.
saying I think they're just going to let him double up and take 19, which is, half of 38 and gets him down into that range.
The math teacher appreciates that by you, because I thought of the same. That was my first thought.
Yeah, but it's like they're not like he's not getting 38 away from Ramondre Stevenson.
No,
I don't think. I mean, he could go 28. I forget where, but I think he wore 19 at some point in his past. I'm pretty sure. Maybe in high school or something. So we'll go 19 for Ryland. But I think you could, especially because kickers can have all kinds of numbers now. I think you could put him anywhere. I'll be curious to see if they kind of set aside lower numbers for those guys, or they just let them pick whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm interested to see about that. And the other part of it too is that you can't it's just the preseason. I have a few here where I doubled up. It's just the preseason. You can double up. What they don't typically like to do is double up in the same position group. So, you don't want to have two offensive linemen that were the same number, but you can have an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman, or you can have a
you don't do it on the same side of the ball.
You know what I mean? So, right. A wide receiver and a D-back, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? So, it just really depends on what position they play. All right, I'm gonna kick it to you to Pop Douglas, because I think. Oh, Matt says he's starting to hear an echo of my audio, so I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's what he said.
That's not. Yeah.
I don't know. Pop Douglas, I assume we're on the same page here. What do you think?
Well, did you see my tweet the other day about this?
I think you might have. I think I might.
Yeah. Give him that Deion Branch Super Bowl MVP 83. It just works. And I love my single-digit receivers, but when's the last time we had a really good wide receiver with a number in the 80s? I mean, Kendrick Bourne, but having a young guy come in, rock a number in the 80s, I like it. And you get the big number on a little guy. I think that's kind of funny too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Matt Menino says 80 for Douglas. That's a lot of pressure, man, for a slot guy wearing 80 with his coach.
And it's his coach's number. Yeah, I could see it.
I could see it. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right, Kayshon Boutte is up next. Kayshon Boutte wore 1 and 7 in college. I went a little off the board here. I went 81.
Oh, that's exactly what I did. Kept the digit, moved it up to the 8. Not a lot of numbers available in the low ranges here.
No.
And it's right now, I think the only number we have available through this is 16, which is one of the uglier numbers out there.
Yeah.
So,
and I gave it to Rylan, so not even that. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So that's 16 might just go to someone, but I think you'd rather have 80 than 16.
Right. Barringer, we already
16.
mentioned. He's 99. Give him 99. Yeah. That's it. Done. See you later. It's happening.
Yes.
Amir Speed. What do you think about Amir Speed?
I threw 28 out there. I don't have a good reason for it. I'm just throwing it out there.
Nah, it's just I don't mind it. Really, honestly, for me, give Speed whatever number he wants. I don't care. It's one of those weird ones where he doesn't really play anything. You know what I mean? He's he's not really a corner. He's more of So, but yeah, I like 28.
He always wore single digits in college too, and it's he's not good enough to get one of those. I could see him in 16 too, if that's still around when he picks too. He seems to get weird numbers, so I don't. Yeah.
I like that.
And we've got Isaiah Bolden up next. I'm curious where you went with this.
I went with 32. He was 23 in college, so I just inverted the number.
I don't think they're giving that number out again. I think they should retire 32, but that's my opinion.
You think so?
I'm a Devin McCourty stan. I love that too.
I know, but I mean, listen, Rob Gronkowski left. They gave the number to Trey Nixon. Okay, so
that's true. That's true.
Not that they respect Devin a hell of a lot more than they do Rob Gronkowski. Don't get me wrong, but I think that it gets
Gronk's going to get into the hall when he didn't get his number retired. So yeah,
correct. It gets to a certain point where you really you can't really retire numbers, and I think that makes that makes a lot of sense.
It's just going to be 12. I think and that's
right.
So I'm going with 37 here. I don't know why, but I like it for Bolden. I feel like it fits for him. Something about that vibes for me. So I'm going 37 there.
I like it. Also, Gary,
Yeah.
they did not retire Gronk's number. They gave it to Matt Sokol.
Legend.
Killing it. All right, next up is Malik Cunningham. What do you get for Cunningham?
And now we are to the
with
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went
UDFAs.
with
You didn't think we were going to UDFAs, you people out there listening.
We're hardcore on this podcast. I went with the only quarterback number still available to me at this point that wasn't doubling up, and that's 16, which I hate and I think is absolutely gross for an athletic quarterback like Malik Cunningham. I feel like they'd let him double up with something small. He wore 3. I don't think they'd let him take 3 because Mac Wilson's could make the roster. I could see him maybe doubling up with a 15. I don't know. It's tough. There's not. Maybe they let him take 9 or something and double up. I don't know, something in single digits.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Double up with Mac and give him 3. Just give him 3 for the preseason, and then you see how things check. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's Mac Wilson's on defense, Malik's on offense. You give him 3, he's got 3, and then you kind of go from there. You know what I mean? And again, end of the preseason, he's still wearing 3? Probably not, but whatever. He's wearing 3 for the preseason. Doesn't really matter. I'm good to go. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and again, maybe he doubles up with Waitman and he gets 15 or something like that. But to me, it's if you're going to double him up with someone, give him 3 and go from there.
3 makes sense. Yeah, I could see that. I'll switch to 3. I'll switch mine to 3.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Johnny Lumpkin. What do you got?
8. I got 80 for him. That was the only number in the 80s left. He feels I think he wore 88 in college, which obviously is taken by Gesicki, but big block and tight end 80 feels right.
Is 89 retired?
Yeah.
It is.
Is that Bob D?
Right. Yep. I forgot that 89 was retired. Then it's gonna have to be 80. Or again 81 if you wanna,
Or he can go down into the 40s. He's allowed to grab a number in the 40s.
He could, that's true, but there's not a lot of room in the 40s either. So
he's doubling up with somebody there.
Right.
There's 40. It's 40 retired. 40's retired for Mike Haynes, so that's not available. Right. And everything else, he'd be doubling up with somebody.
So that's the thing, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. All right, Jordan Heilig.
Heilig. I got that from the media guide.
All right, Jordan Heilig.
I went with 30 for him.
37. Come on. 37. Right. Let's go.
So we're just mixing up the same couple numbers in the 20s and 30s for all these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the last two, it's funny. I did Pitts and didn't do Tavai, and you did Tavai and didn't do Pitts. So for Pitts, I had him doubling up with Peppers at number 5 and just said, just give him 5 and kind of go from there because I believe he wore 5 in college.
I think he wore 1.
Oh, maybe he did.
When I briefly Googled
it. You know what?
I gave him 6. Right. Now that I moved Malik Cunningham off of 16, I'll give 16 to Pitts. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
And then for Tavai, I got 71 as a defensive lineman. That just kind of feels like that's something they've done. They just kind of throw a number in the 70s to the back.
I like it.
Defensive lineman.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. We'll see how many of those end up being right. But, we cover the important stories here.
That's it.
That's Nation Network. Yeah.
That's it. 100%, man. This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is the content that you want and the content that you need.
Yes.
That's why you're here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The one more thing to look forward to on Thursday, the new stadium with the scoreboard. I am hyped.
It's gonna be nice.
The videos, the pictures look amazing. You were in there. How big is it?
It is outrageously big. Like outrageously big. And it's one of those things for me. I mean, I took one of the worst selfies of all time, trying to get like some of this board into it, but like it's impossible to fit into a picture. It's so big, it's outrageously big. And so, and what I think is cool about it is that you have, the what's called the lighthouse going above it. It just looks awesome. It looks awesome. And then they actually brought us on a tour of it, which was great. I thought it was great. It's cost prohibitive to get in there. I mean, it's $2,500 a year per ticket, and you have to do 3 years guaranteed and do 2 tickets in there. So you're looking
to get into the lighthouse.
No. To get into the luxury boxes that are in there. It's like an Optum Club. It's like the Optum Club on the other side, similar, right? But you're looking at $15,000 right off the bat, and that's along with the tickets that you already have, right? But it's incredible. It's unbelievable. Yeah. The view is outrageous. It's unreal. And so, like, if you have the disposable income, it's incredible. And it's one of those spots where I'm like, man, I don't have the money for it, but if I did, I would 100% do it because it's great. You know, you will be able to get into the lighthouse. I don't know what the lighthouse will look like on game day. I don't know if you'll be able to get up there. I know there's supposed to be an observatory up there that you can see everything. I don't know what it will be like during game day though. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to get there on game day or not. I'm not 100% on that one. So
yeah, you'll have to report back to us, Pat, once you find that out.
I will. Yes. But it's just fascinating, and it just, you know, you look at some of the stadiums out there and you see like some of the grandeur, right? And you talk about, oh, Chris, thank you so much. Your dad just said if he wins Powerball, he's going to buy it for me. It's very nice of me. I appreciate that.
Going to buy it for him and not me. I see.
Hey, man, I'll take you to a game. So we're going to get if he hits Powerball. I'm sure you might be getting a few Patriots tickets out of it. But you know, it's one of those things for me that, like, you talk about going to Jerry World, right, down in Dallas, and you talk about going to some of these other stadiums that are just like incredible, right? And Gillette is kind of getting to be that way where this becomes, you kind of have to go. You go to Patriot Place, you see all the stuff around it, and now the you know, it kind of takes your breath away. You get in the stadium, you're like, oh my God, look at the size of that thing. Look at how cool it looks, you know. So, and all of it's all there, right? The Pro Shop and the Hall of Fame, and then it's really cool. It's very well done. It's like this whole thing, and of course, it's been a long process. For the last 2 years, they've been working on it nonstop. They're literally working on it 24/7 right now. Like, they're literally there round the clock to try to get this done before the season starts. But like, when it's done, it's going to be incredible. And I think that's why they've done this, and that's why they've, you know, thrown that money into it. It's been great. Yeah,
excited to see that pay off. Looks great in the pictures, so I can't wait to see it in person. And we'll get a first look of it for a game day, somewhat game day atmosphere on Thursday.
Counts.
And that's, I think it's 2 road preseason games this year. So we're going to see it on Thursday, and we're not going to see that stadium for basically another month here.
Matter of fact, exactly 1 month from Thursday is the first home regular season game.
We're so close. I can taste it.
August 10th is the home game, and then September 10th is the regular season game. So there you go. How about that?
Yeah. All right. We're going to have our trivia sections here. I want to mention something before we do that.
Yes.
Which is just, we saw the report this week. Stephon Gilmore, apparently, Pats were interested in trading for him. I thought that was interesting, given that they drafted Christian Gonzalez. I wonder, I mean, if they were looking to trade for him, they must have thought the relationship there is salvageable. This tells me they've been looking for an elite man corner, and they were looking on a number of avenues. I wonder what happens in the draft if they do end up getting Gilmore. What do they do in that first round? I don't think they still take Gonzalez, but maybe they do.
Right.
Very, very interesting. And they've invested a lot into the corner position. You know, you re-sign Jonathan Jones, you draft Marcus Jones, you draft Jack Jones, you draft Christian Gonzalez, and you're in on a guy like Stephon Gilmore. It's a lot of investment.
Well, and I think what it shows, a few things. First of all, like you said, the relationship part of it, I think, is fascinating because obviously they felt like the relationship is still there and it's still salvageable. Clearly. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in discussions about making a trade for him. The other part of it is, I think, what you see from Belichick is this understanding of where you play, right? And we've been talking about it, and I've talked about it all offseason, and I think we both have done a pretty good job of kind of being on top of that, like, you play against, in the AFC East now, you got some really high-powered offenses. In the AFC in general, you got some really high-powered offenses. If you want to be able to compete with those teams, sure, you got to be able to score with them too, obviously.
Yeah.
but you really got to be able to slow them down and stop them. And in order to do that, you need two things. You need a pass rush and you need guys that can cover. And so what have they done? They've gone out and they've gotten guys that can rush the passer. They've gotten athletic guys at all three levels of the defense, right? And you just look at this year's draft is the perfect example. They draft Christian Gonzalez in the first round. They draft Keon White in the second round. They draft Marte Mapu in the third round. Literally the exact, it's the exact same thing they're looking for, right? They focused on Marcus Jones, on Jack Jones, on Kyle Duggar, and they've made specific investments into these players that can stop these offenses. Everyone says, well, what about the offensive scoring with them? And they drafted Tyquan Thornton. They traded for Devontae Parker. They signed Kendrick Bourne. So they've done things on offense as well, right? Juju, Gesicki, right? Hunter Henry, so on and so forth, right?
Bunch of offensive linemen.
They drafted Mac Jones at 15 overall, right? So they've done all these things offensively as well. But I think when you look at the defense, it's this specific need to stop the pass. We know we have to stop the pass, and it's how can we stop the pass? And I think that, everything you can throw at it. So if that means trading for Stephon Gilmore, who's getting paid a lot of money and left here on kind of a sour note, hey, what the hell? Give it a shot, because he can help us stop the pass.
And your season has ended 2 years in a row in Buffalo because you can't cover Stephon Diggs.
Right.
That's kind of, in some ways, the search here. And they've had issues beating the Dolphins, too, with the receivers they have. And I'm not as sold on the Jets' weapons as everybody else is, but Garrett Wilson is a good receiver. And, you got to be able to shut down those guys. If you play in this division, you have to be able to match it, or you have to be able to stop it. They're investing a lot in trying to stop it. And if everybody else is going after the receivers, then it's an expensive market to be in. If you think you can get corners a little bit cheaper or a little bit more value there, then I like it.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into a trivia question, though, we have our final segment of the day. So here we go.
Let's stay in sports history.
And now for something we think you'll really like. This week in sports history.
All right. So I'm going to go first here. I'm going to go back to today, which is August 7th, 1954. When Roger Bannister beat Australia's John Landy in the mile at the Empire Games in Vancouver, it is the first time ever that two men ran sub 4-minute miles in the same race. How about that?
Wow.
1954. So there you go. Think about how fast. Think about how fast that is. 4-minute mile. Here's what I want you to think about, right? Really, what's insane to me. When I run as fast, when I was in high school, I ran as fast as I possibly could around a track one time, and almost died, and ran it just over 60 seconds. These guys did that 4 times.
Yeah,
it's insane. Think about how fast it is.
I can't. I've never been fast.
Nobody's
ever accused me of being fast. Yeah,
right.
I boggles my mind.
What blows my mind is they would have been running a mile race, and I would have been running a 400, 1/4 of their race, 1/4 of their race, and when they would have beat me in my own race. How is that even possible? I would have been running as fast as I possibly could, and they would beat me to 1/4 of their race. It's insane to think about how fast it is.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's something else. Mine, we got another athletic feat here, but we're going strength and not speed on this one. August 7th, 2007, San Francisco Giants slugger Barry Bonds hits his 756th career home run to break Hank Aaron's record.
Oh goodness!
It's just
controversy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But, I could sit back and watch Barry Bonds highlights all day. The stuff he did was ridiculous. Ethical, no, but entertaining to watch 100%.
100%. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. All right. We're doing the trivia question.
Let's do the trivia question. Matt has the trivia question for you. We're going to give you about 30 seconds after the trivia question. Then we're going to go, by the way, here's what I was thinking. Should we make it a little bit harder and give them 1 out of the 3, and then so they have to choose between 2 of them?
No. I want to. Well, I want to let them pick here.
All right.
Yeah. I have something like that for another question lined up for later. For those who are new to this and don't know the deal, we're doing a trivia question at the end of every single one of these episodes. The first person in the chat or the comments anywhere to answer the question correctly is going to be entered into a drawing to win something we haven't figured out yet as the prize, but it'll be something Patriots related from the Pro Shop or a Pro Shop gift card, something along those lines. Later this season, the more correct answers you get, the more entries you will get for the drawing for that. So you're going to want to make sure you stick around for these and submit your guesses for these.
And by the way, when we're going to be doing 2 episodes per week, right? Starting this week, because we got one Thursday night. Yeah. We're going to be doing 2 trivias a week. So you're going to get more entries. Yeah, lots
of opportunities for it. So stick around to the end because you got a chance to win some Pats gear here. You know you want it. This trivia question only has 3 correct answers. 3 possible answers. The first one to get one of them is going to be the one who gets the entry here. So 3 players are tied for the most 2-point conversions in franchise history with 4 each. Name one of them. We'll see what happens here. We're not gonna give away who gets it right live here as we sign off because we don't want to spoil it for anybody who's coming in later doing this for themselves. But I think this one's a little bit tougher than the ones we've had in the past. And
it is a tough one.
We'll see if anybody is able to get this. Pat, would you have gotten this if I hadn't told you the answer?
Probably not. No, probably not. I would have given an answer that we've seen. My dad texted me with an answer as well. That's wrong. That's the answer I probably would have given. But so that's the thing. So, but anyway, so we'll see. My mom was not the correct answer. No, she did not. I don't know if Matt's mom did, but my mom did not.
No, definitely not. No, my mom was a lot of things, but no 2-point receptions for her.
No. What are you gonna do? Listen, thank you so much. It's been a great episode. A great episode, I guess. I'll say it. I'll just toot my own horn and say it was a great episode. Yeah, I appreciate everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for coming through. I always love interacting with everyone and going back and forth with everyone and the insightfulness that everyone's brings and the questions. And I also love one of the things I love is that while we're talking, there's people in the chat having conversations too. I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. That's what we want to see.
That must be like the live stream equivalent to when you're teaching in class and there's like a side conversation in the classroom.
Yes. Well, yes, except I want everyone paying attention to me when I'm teaching.
Yes.
So, that's a little different story. I'm okay with the conversation going on behind the scenes here. So, anyways, thank you so much, guys.
Thursday night?
Yes. Oh, Taylor showing up.
Taylor.
Love you, brother.
CLNS, past pulpit legend.
That's right, baby. Thursday night after the game, we'll be live with another live stream, breaking down, giving an instant reaction to the game as we do.
You'll be there at the game?
I will not be there at the game. We actually donate. So preseason, we decided a long time ago we don't really go to preseason games, so we decided we every year donate our tickets to the Jimmy Fund. And it's great. It's a great cause, and the kids we get to make. Every now and again, they'll send a letter and hearing. It's just it makes your day. Seeing those kids and those families and what they have to go through to be able to give them one night of relief, even if it's just one night. It's just it's so worth it. Beyond whatever the money doesn't matter. It's worth it. So I haven't been to a preseason game in a while. I went once with my daughter a few years ago when she was young and wanted to go to a game. We're all right, we'll take you to one. But no, I haven't been in a while. So I will be ready for the live stream right after the game. So
pretty shortly after the game, we should be live on Thursday night with our thoughts. Hopefully, lots of good ones.
I hope.
And no injuries. That's
it. On either side,
no injuries.
On either side, because by the way, they're playing a Houston team that has a lot of young, talented, fun players. Same thing. It's the last thing you want to see is one of those guys get hurt. So.
And it's half Patriots on that team too.
Right, really
Zach Cock put the list together. Andrew Beck, former preseason legend, Byron Cowart, Dalton Keene, Shaq Mason. I didn't realize he ended up over there. Derek Rivers, D'Angelo Ross, and Eric Tomlinson, the tight end.
Oh, Gary, 1 a.m. start time is perfect. You just got to get up a little early. That's all. No big deal. Go to bed at like 4. Go to bed at 4. Wake up at 12:30, and you're good to go. You get yourself a full 8 hours of sleep.
See, I'm going to bed at 4 after the game. If that's the case, I'm staying up till 1 a.m. to watch it. I'm a night owl, so
me too. But
yeah.
So,
All right.
but all right. Well, thanks,
see you
guys.
Thursday
Appreciate
night.
it, and we'll talk to you Thursday.